Welcome to Two Dope Boys in a Podlac. I think I said that welcome really loud. We are two
dope boys in a Podlac.
Exactly. Paul, how's it going? How's life?
It's going pretty good.
Yeah?
Pretty good. No complaints.
Everything's good?
Everything's good.
Nice. You know, I mentioned something last week that I think I need to elaborate a little bit more on. You know, that we're the Bridger generation or the Bridge generation.
It's the first time I ever heard that.
And well, it's something I created.
Now it's the second time.
and it's, you know, technically we're millennials, but I never felt like we were millennial. Like when that term was being thrown around, like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, whatever.
I didn't even know I was millennial. I had to actually look it up like a few years ago.
Yeah.
It was like 1980, I think, is the start.
But I remember talking shit about millennials. Like when it was like the term was like, oh yeah, these fucking millennials. It was just like, wait a minute.
These stupid millennials, these punk ass kids.
But see, that's just it. And that's why I was like, wait, we're not millennials. We're the Bridge generation. We're the ones that connect the gap, you know what I mean, of what it is to be a millennial and then also like a Gen Zer, you know what I mean? Like,
well, Gen Z, I think, is the newest generation, correct? Gen X is the one that came right before us.
Yeah.
So we're kind of bridging the gap between like millennials
and there you go.
Gen X.
Nailed it. So, you know, what does it mean to be a Bridger? I mean, just so many different things, but you know, one I'm so tired, folks. I'm sorry. I'm burning the candle on both ends here. And it's because I'm working full time and we do this after work. So speaking about work, what was your first job, by the way? Like, what was the
my
first
job was at Pacific Sunwear in the Meadows Mall.
PacSun?
PacSun. And I never actually like resigned or anything, so I might still be employed there. I just stopped showing up.
You're missing out on checks?
I guess. Well, there's no check. I haven't worked.
That reminds me, I think there was, I forget what country it was in, but some guy figured out like he could just like clock in from a remote destination, like, you know, like not be in the office, and he was cashing in a bunch of checks.
Really?
Like they didn't find out till like 15 years later. It's like, hey, motherfucker, you owe us some money.
Yeah.
So
did you really think he was going to get away with it for like?
Well, I mean, just 15 years is pretty good. I mean, it could be off on that. Don't fact check me. So PacSun, God. So what'd you do? What was your responsibilities?
I folded clothes.
Yeah.
I worked the cash register. I talked to people on the floor. Tried to sell them things. Not that I really cared.
Did you get a commission?
No. I made $5.15 an hour.
Good God.
That was minimum wage at the time.
My God. Wow.
$5.15 an hour. And I worked maybe 10 hours a week. Some weeks maybe like Christmas time a little more, but
because you were still in school.
I was still in school.
What
so
was
I was
your
16.
hairstyle?
I think it was when I first started. I don't know if I had bleached my hair at that point.
Probably.
Like when I first started.
You can't not work at PacSun without
I think it was just
hair.
like the spiked up, like what was cool at the time. I don't know if it's still cool now.
I can't help but put my hair up because I've got volume. So all right, $5 an hour ish. You know, you worked what you could. How long were you there?
A little over a year before I got my next job.
That's pretty good.
My next job was Big O Tires. I actually worked both for like a couple of weeks. And then I stopped showing up. Yeah. I got the job. What's funny is I went and bought a truck. Like my parents took me, we traded in like our old car.
Yeah.
We got $800 for it. And then I bought a Ford Ranger and the car payment was $147 a month. And then my mom's like, you're going to have to get a job to pay for that.
Yeah.
At the time I thought it was a lot of money. So that's when I got the job at Big O Tires, making a little bit more, like $6.25 or something stupid, like $6.50 an hour.
So it was put in you responsibility, understanding money and how the world works. And if you want nice things, you got to work hard to get it. You know, one thing that I throw a little shade on with this younger generation is, I swear to God, they don't understand this. You know, like I just see it over and over again. Not everyone, not all of them. I mean, there's some youngins out there that work hard, sort of because they have to, because they're really supporting their family, which is really unfortunate. But man, you know, just the younger workforce, they just don't care, man. They just don't give a fuck. Like as far as, you know, work ethic, you know, showing up on time, you know, understanding their responsibilities, getting it done, you know, and just really the lip, like the back talk, like they have no respect for authority, authority like the higher ups. And I'll tell you what, they don't last long at my restaurant, but
like a sense of entitlement.
it's just, but this, I gotta tell you, I saw this number, I gotta throw it out there. Over the course of 2021, more than 47 million people quit their jobs, representing 23% of the total US workforce. A quarter of people quit their jobs right after the pandemic. So I think
it's still like in the middle of the pandemic.
Well, 2021, yeah. The vaccines didn't come out until like January, February, but man, I think that lockdown, dude, it really like shook people. It shook obviously like so many folks, but I think it really had an effect on the younger generation as far as like how they view work. Because think about it, for a whole year, they saw their family not working, getting money somehow. You know what I mean? And I, not to say that there wasn't some troubles. I mean, people were definitely struggling during that time, but for the most part, everyone survived.
Because we got like way more money in unemployment.
Exactly.
Like a lot of people were making more with unemployment than they were beforehand with their jobs. So
right.
Like, why the fuck am I going to go back?
The government, I don't want to call it handouts to me because really it was like trying to help people survive. But I think the younger generation saw that.
It was necessary for a brief period of time. Probably went on way too long.
Probably.
But also you have to like look at how corporations handle it. As soon as they saw it like affect their bottom line, they started laying people off, and then they wanted to bring people back at lower pay. Like, who the fuck's going to do that? I'm not going to do the same job for less money. No,
right.
Thanks.
Well, one thing that messed with me for a slight second, because, I've got a fucking family and I got to put food on the table, and I'll be damned if I'm going to take, government money. But one thing that kind of shook me a little bit when there was no work, they told everybody to go home, was there was essential jobs and non-essential jobs. And to be told, like, you are non-essential, like, I think that kind of messed with people too. It's just like, what the fuck? Like, what do you mean I'm non-essential? Like, and maybe it's a subconscious thing. You subconsciously think about that. I know that was in the front.
I didn't like take it personally. Like, I thought of essential as basically like just like the bare minimum for like society to function, because we still obviously needed police officers. We still needed people working at like the power company, like all that stuff. Those
grocery.
Those food. Like those, we still needed those things.
I just love the clapping. You saw the videos of like people, the essential workers, going to work while, 95% of the neighborhood was locked up, and, they see, little Sally getting in her car with her nurse outfit about to put in 22 hours, and everyone's just like, clapping them on.
Yeah.
Or it was the bagger at the fucking grocery market. Someone that you just like, sort of walk by and don't even consider nowadays, but they were essential back in 2020.
Yeah, they were.
Okay. So my first job is it's kind of interesting. Do you know what my first job was?
Joe's Grab Shack?
No, it wasn't. No, it was Mini Grand Prix. It was Las Vegas Mini Grand Prix. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So it was a go-kart place out here in Vegas. I was one of the attendants, you know what I mean? Like with the whistle, like slowing people down.
That was in high school, right?
Yeah. God, I hated that job. Like, it sounded like it would be fun. It would be rad. Like, oh, you get to ride go-karts all the time. No, you're dealing with stupid kids, teenagers that are your age, you know what I mean? Like trying to like be an authority figure to them, which doesn't work. I mean, it was all right. I just remember when I got off of work, I was like, get me out of here. And I've sort of held that sentiment forever, my whole life. Like,
I think most people have. Most people are pretty excited when they get off work. So I've had in my life 4 jobs total. 4.
That's it?
4.
What?
I'm on my 4th job right now.
Shut up.
I swear.
Wow.
That's it. I got my current job when I was 20.
Yeah.
And now I'm still there.
That's incredible. Talk about commitment. Right on, Lisa.
I don't know if it's commitment or I just found a job that was easy money, and it's really hard to like let go of easy money. Not that I don't want to do other things, because I definitely do.
Yeah.
Like, working in the service industry, it gets really old dealing with people. and like the inconsistency with how busy you are. Like some
Right.
days you're not doing anything. Some days it's some days it's just hell.
Yeah.
It's just like complete mayhem and just like very hard to deal with.
Yeah, you can't. It's hard to say no to cash, in your hand.
Yeah.
Like that's always tough. Good cash too. Our producer Zach. I mean, shit, you were in the clubs, weren't you? Like making solid money. I guarantee it. Like,
But same thing, busy season, slow season.
Yeah.
yeah.
Great nights, slow nights.
Well, all right. So you've been in there, but I mean, has there ever been a time where, like, or a passion or something that came up where you were like maybe questioning that, like maybe
Well, if I wanted to leave,
yeah, like if there was something really calling out to you, like, man, I know I'd be really good at that. Not to put you on the
not
spot.
really. But that's kind of my own. I feel like in my own head, like anything that I feel like I would love to do this for a living, I automatically am like, oh, but I can't do that. Like,
Oh,
like,
I
can't
see.
do- like you're just like I'm
So
already
you have
stopping
that
myself.
Defeatist
from-
attitude, yeah.
Yes, which isn't good. Don't have that at home, kids. You can do whatever you want.
Well, I mean,
can't, but you can.
Yeah. Defeatist. I've had those thoughts. I mean, there was a moment in time when I was ready to move to California. I was looking at the Art Institute. I wanted to get into
I think I remember that.
yeah. I wanted to get into like being like a producer, of
Mhm.
music, a sound engineer. And I mean, because I just absolutely love music. I played in a band for a while, and it's just like I could hear a song I've never heard of before, right? So I can just like kind of like hear the first, 20, 30 seconds, and then I'll know exactly how the rest of that song's gonna go. I'll know where the break is, I'll know where the bridge, I'll
Yeah.
know where the chorus is. Like I just pick up on those things, So another thing that I felt would help me, in that field was just knowing what sounds good. Like if I could predict like what pop songs are going to do, which I'm not saying like not all of us can do it. They're very simple songs, but it's like if I feel like I've got that
Yeah, well,
knack,
you have like a
then why
musical
couldn't
ear.
I do that, with somebody else, like help them out? I remember when I was in the band, because I'm on percussion, so I'm like keeping the beat, and there's times where just like somebody just play something, you know what I mean? Like just get something out. And so we kind of like vibe off of each other. And I remember I would be the one sort of directing people like, ooh, that sounds good. Let's do a little bit more of that. Maybe tone down over there. Like, so I already like felt like I had that in me. And just through a series of unfortunate events, it just never panned out. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
just kind of stuck out in there.
I actually looked into artists too. a while
Did
ago.
you?
Like over 10 years ago, yeah.
For what?
Video editing, actually.
Wow.
But I wanted to do it like not for YouTube videos. I wanted to do like, but of course,
Yeah.
like I looked at it and I'm like looking at the price and it was like $85,000.
It ain't
And
cheap.
But I mean, not to let myself off the hook. Like I
Yeah.
probably could have found another way
Yeah.
if I really was committed. But
Of
I never really
course.
committed myself,
And that's just it. I mean, with anything, money is always a factor
It's just
too.
like comfortable. I was too comfortable already. I'm like, oh, do I really want to give all this up? Like,
Yeah.
not that I have it all that much. It's like, do I want to give up my job where I do make pretty decent money, but it's
Yeah.
just not something I want to continue doing.
Well, I
you
mean, don't sell yourself short. You've been there for a while. You got those bennies. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And I think when you retire too, aren't you set up fairly good or no? Like when you hang it up,
From there,
yeah. Because I know
Um,
Timmy, like when he was, up at the Benson, like I remember he just had to like get X amount of years, and he would be like hooked up,
we don't
like
have that.
oh,
Boy gaming.
oh,
Yeah, I mean, you have like 401k where they match it, but
right,
I mean, max is like 6%. My paychecks aren't very big.
oh yeah, because you're all cash. Got it.
Yeah.
Well,
So, I have my house, fortunately.
Yep, that's right.
And at some point, Lisa and I were talking about like setting up like a Roth IRA
Okay.
just to like put our own money in. I could put my cash in.
Yes.
Hopefully, within the near future, be doing something else.
No doubt. You got that truck paid off, right?
Truck's paid off.
Bam.
First time since I bought that Ford Ranger I was talking about. First time I've had no car payment.
Really?
Yep.
Oh man, good for you. That's fucking awesome.
22 years. First time I heard.
Yeah.
No, wait. When did I buy this? 21 years. First time in 21 years I haven't had a car payment.
That's incredible, man. Speaking of cars, like just kind of like get off course a little bit. I follow this one dude on Twitter. He's like the car salesman guy. I think that's his handle. and just constantly, like every day, just giving advice. And he said that used car prices right now are just going through the effing roof. And at the same exact time, Tesla prices are going down. They cut their prices by 10%. And I believe Elon was saying that he wants to like stir up, people's, excitement to get back into the Tesla game. But
Yeah.
I digress.
Well, what happened with that was the reason used car prices went up because it was the semiconductor shortage made it difficult to get new cars.
Interesting.
out there.
Yes.
So there was a long wait to get a new car.
Yeah.
And that means if you needed a car, you had to look at used cars. So the demand for used cars went
Shot
up
up
through the roof.
There you go.
Which, because Lisa and I were going to get a Subaru.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't even let us order one. Because it was in like
Really?
October. Yeah, it was on October. They're like, well, they're not really letting people order 2022s anymore,
Huh.
if
Subi.
something comes up, yeah.
That's, you know how many Subarus there are in Portland?
How many people live there? It's got to be like 90% of like the cars on the road are Subarus.
Oh my God. And you know what? I would say 60% of the time it's a lesbian that owns it. Nothing against the lesbians, but so you'd have a lesbian shaggin' wagon. Moving on. As far as like where I am with my job, I just sort of came to the realization, when that kind of fell through, like what I wanted to do. It's just like, man, I've been in this thing for so long, like the industry. Yeah. It's like, I get it. And then I was offered an incredible opportunity with, my homie Clint wanted to bring me in as a partner. And it's just like, let's do it, And so I got to learn so much more than I think I would, like if I was to take like
Just
a
like-
hospitality course, at
yeah.
fucking, UNLV
If you
or
learned
whatever.
on the job, that's the best way. Hands-on learning.
Exactly, and that's helped me, move on even further. I'm at my job right now. It's not too shabby, but I'm like, test the waters, see what's out there. You know what I mean? It's got this nice little resume. Let's see what kind of nibblers I got. And my fucking shit's blowing up, because of, similar to you, very, been in the industry, same industry for so long. You know what I mean? And I could toss that nice little tag word, owner on there, so they see that and they go, hey, how's it going? Come on in. So that's a nice little juicer, but I gotta tell you, oh, man, as far as like being in the same thing over and over, I mean, it's not bad. I think anybody that's been in management or higher management, you either keep climbing the ladder or you have your own thing, like you either keep going up or you start your own biz. And, one position that's been kind of like, that I've been digging is like sort of like a regional, you know what I mean? Where you can you be in charge of like multiple stores.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that's awesome, especially in restaurants, because you get out of the everyday grind, you know what I mean? And you just kind of like help guide the other, general managers to figure out their shit. So, I don't know. We'll see if that's
You're not like
down the road.
in the restaurant on a nightly basis and dealing with angry customers.
Yes. Minimal
Lying.
Karens,
Just like lying about being upset so they can get a free meal.
Oh my God.
I'm sure you have some stories with your job. I definitely got a couple with mine. Working at a casino
Oh my God.
in Vegas.
I can
You
only
see some
imagine.
shit.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to tell you a quick one that I just experienced the other day.
Yeah.
So get ready for this.
Here we go.
There's
Strap in.
this older guy that comes in. I don't know his name, but he calls me Professor. So I call him Professor. So I just refer to him as Professor.
Yeah.
He's a really nice guy, but he's tough to deal with because he like really can't walk and you have to like load his scooter onto the back of his car. He's got like the rack that goes up and down.
Mm-hmm.
So the other day, I think it was yesterday, comes
Just
out.
yesterday.
He comes out and he's like, "Hey, Professor." I'm like, "Oh my God." I feel bad for even like being aggravated by it, but
Yeah.
I'm like, "Hey, what's up, buddy? Like I'll go get your car. Be right back. Take care of him. Load his scooter on." He drives up, but he stops like maybe like 50 feet up.
Mm-hmm.
He's there for like 5 minutes. And I'm like, this dude can barely walk. So if he needs something, it's not like he could jump out of his car and be like, "Hey, could you help me real quick?"
Yeah.
So I go walk up to his car,
Mhm.
to the passenger side. I go to knock on the window to see if everything's all right. The dude has like his unit out in a cup, pissing. And I'm like, never mind.
Wow.
Like, never mind.
Are you
That just
fucking
took-
kidding
So
me?
thank God.
Jesus
I was like,
Christ.
never mind. And I just beelined it back. I'm like, I could never deal with this guy again now.
Unbelievable. What?
So I wasn't.
I was
He's
like,
no.
I'm
no.
like, dude, you couldn't have gone.
No.
Like, you couldn't have gone to the bathroom inside before you came
He's
out.
feet away from a restroom, like right there. God.
Even if he couldn't get out of the chair, like, you could have gone into the stall
Yeah.
and used a cup and poured it in the toilet.
God, jeez.
But no,
man.
not yesterday. That's not how we wanted to do it.
You know, I
I'm like, that's
listen-
what I get for being like a nice guy and like checking on him.
Well, that reminds me. I listened to this one podcast, and it's a comedian, and you know, comedians when they're up and coming, like they're traveling everywhere. You know, like they do like these little like tours,
Yeah,
like college towns and whatnot. But they drive themselves; they don't fly. So a lot of time on the road. And this one cat was saying how he has a piss jug, like you know, ready to go, and just like just pee in the car while still driving. Is that something you would ever do? Like if you were like driving a lot, like is that something you would like you see yourself doing?
I don't think I could do it while I was driving.
You couldn't
I
do
don't
it
think
while you
so.
were driving.
I don't think I could pull that off. No, that's a lot of coordination. Have you ever watched Trailer Park Boys?
Of course.
Remember like Ray with his piss jokes all over the trailer park? And Bubbles talking about he's like,
yeah.
they fucking dart the thing, fire the thing across the road. He's like, I don't agree with it, but I understand it.
But so yeah, I mean, you have people that drive for a living. Like, yeah, is that a normal thing for truckers to have piss jugs? Like, I don't know. I couldn't that's just a line I couldn't cross. Like to know
I don't
that
know
there
with a
is
truck like that.
like a
that
cup
takes,
of piss just
I don't know about a
sitting.
comedian driving like a
like-
Toyota Corolla around if you really need to, if that's necessary. But I could see if you're like in a rig
Oh,
and it's like a hassle to go to a rest stop,
yeah.
pull it off, start it, and like go again.
How bad is your bladder? Like if you know you have to drive for X amount of time, like don't
Well,
you
they
like
might be on the road for like
put in
16
this-
straight. They're driving the entire day.
okay, but even still, like it all right, how long is a piss break? Like you know what I mean? Is that really gonna throw your timing off and
I
pull
don't
over
know, man.
for 2 minutes?
They might.
It might.
Well, yeah, but you got to figure stopping probably costs them like 25, 30 minutes.
Just to pull over.
You're talking about like pulling over on the side of the road?
I'm back to the comedian.
No, if you're him, yes, you
Pull
should
the
be
fuck
stopping.
over.
Yeah, I'm talking about like
Okay.
truck drivers.
Truck driver
Yeah.
pulling over. You think that's a 30-minute affair?
I think it costs them 30 minutes. I don't think it takes the whole process takes 30 minutes, but I think that they would be 30 minutes slower to their destination.
With a 2-minute pullover.
Yeah, but you got to understand
You gotta
that.
do
They're
the
driving
math.
a fucking semi. Like it takes its time.
Speaking of Elon, where's the robot fucking, 18 wheelers? Because I remember that was something they were talking
I don't know.
about.
Amazon's got, they're not 18 wheelers, but they got their electric delivery vehicles. I
Non-manned.
hear every night the fucking thing
Oh,
backing up on my
Jesus.
street.
Well, I mean, talking about jobs, there's one thing we haven't mentioned yet, and it's AI. Okay. And I
Mhm.
think this is actually really interesting. Zach, how much time do we have on this shit?
That's it.
Perfect. All right. So AI, Chat GPT. You know anything about that? You fuck around with that at all?
No, I've heard people talk about it. My friend Devin, shout out if you watch this.
Yeah.
He said he was asking AI bot for betting advice, and it didn't do him right.
Okay. Well, that's a little extreme, but
It was like, who should I bet? It's a game.
I've never thought of that. That's pretty good. Of course, Devin would think that. but no, I mean, it's this artificial intelligence is getting to a point where it's learning. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like it's starting to like gather as much information as possible. And one time before we met up, us three, I was messing around with it, and I asked it. I was like, hey. I said all of our names. I gave a little brief description about us, and I said we're going to go into a meeting. What are some points I should talk about, like moving forward with our podcast to get better? This thing shot out fucking 6 points that were like absolutely legitimate points. Like talking points to like help us, get out of the weeds. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, it's like I was talking to an absolute professional, and it was awesome. So what am I getting at? AI, and I've watched some articles about this, that they are. It's going to get to a point where like you might not need a lawyer anymore. Like there could be a legitimate AI lawyer that could represent you, where it's like you state what the case is, you say what the law, like whatever law was broken. You know what I mean? Like give it the essential facts of what's going on, and it can come up with a fucking argument for you to win a case in the court of law. Unbelievable. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
I think we're still a ways off from that.
not that far though, my friend, because it's getting to the point where lawyers that are in charge, the
Is
guys.
AI going to go out and like look for evidence?
No. So the guys that are like on the like the names, like the partners, right? Like what they could do is just get rid of all the workers that do like the research for them. Like get the fuck out of here. I could just type this into
Like clerks.
Exactly. You know what I mean? So they can cut the fat there. The medical industry, so as far as like surgical doctors, they're actually programming robots that are going to be able to cut you open with fucking absolute precision and get in and, do whatever work they got to do on your insides. And not only that, the technology, like I said earlier, can learn. It can learn and get better. So the more that it gets inside of people, it'll see like, oh, well, there's all different kinds of folks, and it'll actually get a little bit better, like scanning you and understanding your body type. I mean, so even in the medical field, we're talking about getting rid of jobs. So I find it, I just find it so incredible, because we thought the robots would get rid of like the low skill jobs, which it has, for a lot of people. But now that, because it's advancing so fast, and it's, it's the programming is so advanced. Now it's starting to go after those jobs that it took you 4 or 6 years to get a fucking degree.
Because I know like the robot bartenders and stuff, like most people don't like it. They like a person to interact with. So especially when it comes to like somebody cutting you open,
yes,
you're probably going to want to talk to the person that's doing it. Usually you would.
Yeah.
You'd have a consultation with them. It's going to be really hard to like simulate like that human to human interaction where you like feel comfort like in this other person.
No, I hear you. But I mean, that's just our generation, like I think feel that way, but I feel the younger generation, since they're so obsessed with, technology anyways, that at some point they're just going to blindly accept it. Like they're going to, for fuck's sake, high schoolers are using the Chat GPT to write their own papers. Like that's how good this stuff is, that they can type in fucking book report To Kill a Mockingbird at an 11th grade level, spit it out. Boom. It's going to it spits it out at 11th grade level. I mean, that's how advanced this shit is, so.
Where was that when we were in fucking high school, man? I wasted so many hours writing papers.
No, you didn't.
I wasted like a couple of hours.
Skimmed over the rest. There you go.
Good first paper, good first page, and then the rest is just kind of like drivel.
That's all you needed. Like, give me a solid opening and a solid closing.
Tell me a high school English teacher that's making fucking $45K a year is like reading
not even
15-page papers from 30 different students. Like,
not at all.
Yeah, this looks good. Okay.
So the first paragraph was solid. Last paragraph was pretty.
You know how to open. You know how to close. That's an A.
Oh, but and then talk about education and whatnot. I mean, it's almost like we're getting to the point where the kids don't even need to learn this shit anymore. Like they don't need to learn like the same kind of curriculum that we learned. Of course, that changes over time. We didn't learn the same exact thing people did in the 1920s. It all advances.
Yeah.
But I mean, if it's getting to the point where we could just have robots and, AI just do everything for us, which it seems like we're getting there, like we're slowly creeping there, then the fuck these kids got to do at school? Just learn how to program, really. Like,
just a lot of them are doing. I mean, I think a lot of them they're figuring out a way to make money on the internet. They grew up with the internet. We grew up without it until we were like in our teens, and it was still evolving. And like we've somewhat evolved with it, but I still don't think we understand it the same way that somebody that was born and when they were 5, 6, 7 years old had a cell phone put in their hands with access to the internet.
Exactly. Yeah. So it sounds like we hit a good topic here, and we could talk about AI and what that means for the future generation in another episode. So good thing we do this once a week, folks. So catch us next week, and
like, subscribe.
What he said. Thank you very much.